Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the impersonal form in the Italian language, what is usually referred to as si impersonale. I will break down the rules and I will give you lots and lots of examples so that you can see how to use it and when to use it, okay? The first thing that you absolutely need to remember, which is like number one rule, is that you're going to use it when you're talking about something generic. So you're not talking about something specific. So when you think of impersonal, think of generic. Okay? When you're talking about a community, a group of people, something that in general people do, something that, I don't know, is normal for a certain group of people to do or to say, okay? So you're talking about something very, very generic. Like, for example, if I say, in Italia si va in vacanza ad agosto. This sentence is usually, generically, in Italy you go on holiday in August. As you can see, I'm not saying that Gianni, Maria, Giovanni, I'm not talking about a specific person going on holiday in August, but I'm talking about everybody in Italy, okay? I'm generalizing that that's what you usually do if you are an Italian, which is actually true. We do go on holiday in August all the time, okay? So let's just focus on two sentences. If I say, in Italia si va in vacanza ad agosto, I'm being generic. If I want to be specific, I will say Gianni va in vacanza ad agosto. So in the first sentence, I'm using the impersonal form. And in the second sentence, I'm not using the impersonal form. I'm simply saying what that person does for holidays. Okay? How are you going to form this? You're going to form it by using two elements. You're going to be using si plus the verb, and the verb needs to be at the third person singular. For example, a Natale si mangia troppo. You have si and you have mangia. Mangia is the verb mangiare. If you're conjugating the verb, you will say io mangio, tu mangi, lui, lei mangia. So mangia is your third person singular. Put those two together and you have your impersonal form. A Natale si mangia troppo. As you can see, the form does not have a subject, and that is why we call it impersonal, because you do not refer to a person, okay? So its characteristic is that it does not have a subject because you're talking about something generic, okay? Now, as you're creating sentences, you for sure will use adjectives. If you're using an adjective in a sentence that is in the impersonal form, the adjective will need to be plural masculine. For example, se si dorme poco, si è nervosi. Nervosi is plural masculine. Se si è timidi, è difficile fare amicizia. Once again, you have the adjective shy, timidi. You're talking in general terms, so the adjective will be masculine plural. Another tricky thing with the impersonal form is when you're using compound verbs. Keep in mind, when you have a compound verb, your auxiliary verb will always be the verb essere. Now, I'm going to give you three different sentences. The first one being very specific without using the impersonal form. The second one will use the impersonal form. And the third one will use a compound verb. Look at them. Abbiamo dormito poco. We didn't sleep very much. We, I have a subject, so I'm using a specific form. If I want to make that into the impersonal form, I will say si dorme poco, so being very generic about not sleeping a lot. And if you're using a compound verb, you can say si è dormito poco. In this case, I'm referring to the past. Okay? As you can see, you're going to use the verb essere. Si è dormito. Okay, so remember, when you have compound verbs, you're going to use the auxiliary form of the verb to be, essere. You can also use the impersonal form when you have reflexive verbs. This can be a little bit tricky because you have two little words that are the same, because with reflexive verbs, you're going to use reflexive pronouns, and sometimes the reflexive pronoun can be the word si. Okay? So, for example, take the verb alzarsi. If I want to conjugate this reflexive verb, I will say io mi alzo, tu ti alzi, lui, lei si alza. As you remember, when you're creating the impersonal form, you need to take the third person singular. So with the reflexive verbs, the third person singular is si alza. If you need to create the impersonal form, you will need to add another si. So it would be si alza. Ugh, that is just terrible. So what do you do here? Well, you simply change the first si to ci. And instead of saying si alza, you will say ci si alza. Okay? Bonus explanation on the particle si. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but we also have si passivante. Si passivante is once again a generic form of speaking, but it's a little bit different than the impersonal si. It's different because it will use a plural version of the verb. Let's look at this sentence. Da qui si vedono I bambini giocare. Means from here you can see the children playing. As you can understand, I'm not talking about a specific subject. I don't have one person seeing the children playing. I'm being very generic. In this structure, you will have a plural noun, in this case, bambini, and it will match with the verb. So the verb is not a third person singular, like in the impersonal form, but it will be a plural. Si vedono I bambini giocare. Okay? I do not want to confuse you with this last bonus information, but usually when you are learning about the si in the impersonal form, you sort of throw in this extra bit of information just to complete the si particle, okay? Remember that you can download this whole PDF by clicking on the link below. It's completely free. You can subscribe also to my newsletter. By subscribing to my newsletter, you will receive all the new materials that I send out directly in your inbox. It's free, okay? I do it because I want to help you to follow along and to have more information to be ready for the videos, okay? So if you subscribe, you get it in advance. If not, you can just click on it afterwards. So let me know what you think of this video. I hope it was interesting. If you need more information, just reach out to me by writing a comment or by writing an email at giulia@italianlanguagehub.com. Un bacione. Ciao.